Hi, everyone. I'm Dan with Cloze. I thought I would, as one of the founders of Cloze, I thought I'd do the first few sessions just to get to know you all. And so, for those of you who aren't familiar with Cloze, we're used in lots of different countries. We're the standard CRM for Sotheby's, Corcoran, Windermere, and a lot of other brands where spear selling is core to what they do. And this is one of the key reasons that we're one of your CRM of choice options. Lofty, Bold Trail, they are great choices for businesses that are driven off purely lead gen. And we're no doubt good for that stuff too. But for spear selling, there's really nothing that compares to Cloze. And so you don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to show you why that is as we go a little further here. First thing I wanted to do was talk about a little bit of research that's kind of interesting here. We all have databases, right? And that could be your contacts. It could be in Excel spreadsheets. It could be in CRM. And so you have a database of contacts. The really interesting thing, if you look at the research, though, is that for the average agent who does spear selling, about 88% of the people they talk to never make it into their database. And so think about it. These are people you meet at local events, on the sideline of hockey games, baseball games. Everyone here is in your sphere. It's not just the ones you happen to enter into the system. And this is why so many of the CRMs really struggle with spear selling. They're focused on the 12%, not on your whole sphere. And yeah, vendors will say, oh, it's easy. Just go and manually add all of these people to your database, keep them up to date, keep them organized. But that's a huge amount of work. And by the way, as we go in here, I'm going to go through some slides and I'm going to give you a live presentation and then circle back on some things. Feel free to put any questions you have in chat and either on eXp World or comments on YouTube, and there'll be people there who'll be answering questions for you. But for those of you who, I'd like to see a hand of emojis for those people in eXp World. If you don't like data entry or busy work, let me know. And so this is kind of the core of what we try and do with Cloze. One of the things about your whole sphere is the interesting part is there are actually a lot of electronic breadcrumbs, if you will, about all of these relationships you have. Maybe you're on a mailing list together with people on your kids' hockey team or in your Chamber of Commerce. All of that information is there and together. And so Cloze uses your history of communication all the way back in time. Everyone you've ever met, ever talked to, ever been on mailing lists or exchange with. And we take that information, we map out all of your relationships. And so we do that across your entire sphere. We keep track of all that information, so you don't have to. But when the time is right, we're going to bring these people back to your attention. So when you need to focus on them, they're right there and ready for you. And so I'm going to dive in a bit deeper and talk about how we do that in Cloze. So the first thing we do in Cloze, we connect to your email. We connect to your calendar, things like Google Drive, OneDrive, Evernote, Dropbox. And we even connect to your mobile phone, things like iMessage, Google Chat. We can directly connect and pull in and analyze your text messages from there. Now, it is entirely up to you. What do you want to connect to Cloze? Do you want to connect one email account? Do you want to connect 10 email accounts? Do you want to connect your phone? Do you not want to connect your phone? Entirely up to you what you choose to connect into Cloze. But really important there is privacy. In the way Cloze is built, no one, not our team, not eXp, not the team you work on, can see your private content. Because we do work in so many different countries, we have to obey the strictest privacy rules in the world. And so as a business, what we decided to do was make that uniform. So we apply the same privacy rules for our customers, regardless of what country you're in. So you get to take advantage of the strictest privacy rules in the world. And so the reason we can provide this level of privacy is Cloze is actually built differently than other CRMs out there. Most of the CRMs out there, basically they mix together if you're on a team, they mix together all of your stuff into one big database. So everyone in your team are in one big single shared database. In the Cloze world, every agent is actually in a separate database. And so your information is entirely separated from every other agent's information. And so what that means, for example, is if you want to leave your team, or if, heaven forbid, you decide to leave EXP, you can just unplug your Cloze account and take it with you. You don't lose any of your content. You didn't lose any of your configuration. Just take your account. They're fully portable. And so that's one of the reasons that we can allow this kind of privacy, is that every account is separate and every account is portable. But again, you can connect as much or as little as you want to Cloze. Connect your phone or not. You can also tell Cloze things like, don't bring in friends and family for my text messages, but bring in all my work contacts. And so you get a lot of flexibility and choices about privacy. But what you do choose to connect in, we use AI assistants to analyze all that information. Again, no actual person looks at this, but we use AI to analyze all your information to start giving recommendations for you and that are just for you based on your own information. And let me walk you through a few examples of that so you can see the kind of things. The first example here is if a client reached out to you and says, blah, 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 give me a call Saturday morning, blah, blah, blah. Our AI is actually going to realize that they have an action item for you that it's due Saturday morning, and we're going to automatically add that to your agenda for you. So even if you missed it, our AI is going to be there to pick up that they asked you for something and make sure that you're aware of it. Our AI also automatically keeps your contacts up to date. So our AI understands things like email signatures. So if a client comes in and there's new contact information in their signature, our AI is going to automatically pick that information up and update your contact for you. So we're going to get you out of the business of having to manually maintain your database, something that I know like everyone just hates. It's a lot of work and a lot of busy work. We get rid of that for you by automating all of that stuff. And so using all of that historical information, all of those breadcrumbs I talked about and the relationships that you formed over time, our AI is also going to start suggesting people to reach out to. Even without any tagging or organization or structure, you're going to start to get recommendations on what we call the Cloze agenda here about people that you should reach out to. And that's based on the AI realizing this is the right time to reach out to those people. And so even if you never put these people in your database, our AI may pick them out and actually put them in here on the agenda for you to reach out to. And so that's just helping make sure that you're always making sure you're looking at your whole sphere, not just that 12% I talked about. We also will keep track of goals for you automatically. So the idea, a lot of goal systems, there's a lot of manual data entry to manage and track goals. When we built our goal system, and I could probably talk for an hour on all the science behind this, but when we first built it, we took the cue of things like Apple Fitness to say, what if you could just have your goals 100% automatic without any data entry, without having to figure out things? So our goal system uses all that information to figure out what you should be doing each day, how much outreach you should be doing, whether you're on track with your sides or not, and GCI goals. We're going to do that automatically for you. So you don't have to have manually data entry. We're going to keep you on pace to make sure you're delivering what you need to. And in addition, what we're going to do is give you reminders of things like key dates. So we're going to use transaction manager like SkySlope or .loop. We're going to integrate with those systems and automatically bring in the client information, purchase anniversaries, sale anniversaries, things like that. And so right on your Cloze agenda, the moment you've connected your SkySlope or .loop, you're going to start getting these recommendations as well of here's key times to reach out to your clients. So you don't forget important events in their lives, things like their purchase anniversaries. And so with your EXP CRM of choice subscription, if you choose Cloze, you're going to get 3 core parts of Cloze. You're going to get the whole Cloze CRM. You'll see this labeled as Cloze Business Platinum on our website. You're going to get our Cloze marketing, so our full multi-channel marketing, including our Canva Enterprise integration that I'll show you a bit about later on. And you're going to get our full lead management system here. And so right now, I'm going to go in and give you a live demo of Cloze, and then we'll get back and answer some common questions afterwards, and also answer a lot of the audience questions that may have come in along the way. So for things that our team, I think everyone wants to hear about. All right, so let me switch over and I'm going to go into my Cloze account here. And so I am looking at the agenda section of Cloze. So the agenda is where you go at the start of your day, the end of your day. It really brings together literally everything you need to get done for the day, all in one place. And it's not only the things that you might have remembered to manually enter, things like showings that might be on your Google Calendar, but also all of the AI recommendations that I talked about earlier on. So people to keep in touch with, important dates, meetings you might want to reconfirm, important messages. And so the agenda is going to bring all these things into place for you in one place, and your new leads are here as well. Now, the thing about having something like an agenda here is that the last thing anyone wants is a big, long laundry list of work where it's just, here's the 10 things you need to get done. So everything on the Cloze agenda has help built into it. And let me show you that here. So I'm going to look at a birthday reminder, for example. And if I tap on that, it's going to bring up a birthday reminder. I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I hope all's well. I could put in a personal note. How are the kids? And send that off to my client here. And if I pick a different one, for example, a purchase anniversary, you're going to see something different. Can you believe it's been a year? I hope you're loving your new home. And you can automate all of this stuff too, but a lot of agents really like to put the personal touches in the notes that they send out. And so that's our default here, is that we'll give you the template, we'll give you the content to start with, but you can customize it with like a personal note about the client. How are you enjoying the pool, for example, on a new client here, so a purchase anniversary. Now, when I send this out, I hit the send button here, it's going to go out of your real email account. And so whether it's Google, Office 365, Outlook, or any other email server, we support hundreds of them, it's going to go out of your real email account. It'll show up in your sent items. It's 100% indistinguishable from something you hand typed into Google. And again, we can connect as many email accounts as you want. So you can have different email accounts for different purposes, maybe some for your Sphere, your personal business, your EXP account. Now, when I send this out, the advantage of sending out a Cloze is you're going to get open notifications. So even though this is going to be sent from your regular email account, we're actually going to know when your clients open the emails you send, when they click on links in them. And the other key thing that you often see, we often see, is if you're sending out a note like this, a lot of agents will see, well, then, take out a piece of paper, a pad of paper, and write down a note for themselves. Make sure to follow up with Michael Bluth in this case if they don't get back to me. Well, Cloze can do that for you. Just tap on the bookmark, and I can say, if no one replies by next week, automatically bring this onto my agenda. So if I send this out and Michael gets back to me, great, it's in my inbox. I know how to deal with it. But if Michael never gets back to me, that's going to come back onto my agenda in a week, which is what I asked. And I'm going to get a reminder that I need to follow up with Michael. So we're really building that automatic follow-up right into everything you do in Cloze, has this cycle of follow-up built into it. And so let me go and talk about some of the other examples of things that you'll see on the agenda here. We talked a little bit about some of the important dates. You saw some examples there. Cloze is also going to recommend, if you have things like upcoming showings on your calendar, Cloze is going to remind you to reconfirm with the client, because the last thing you want is to show up at a home and the client's nowhere to be found. So reconfirming is a really important thing. Make sure they're aware and that they don't have any changes to their plan, their schedule. And again, if I just tap on that, it's going to say, I wanted to confirm our showing today at 2, looking forward to seeing you there. And I can send that off and get through it. Again, all of these can be automated, but you can also put that personal touch on everything. And so we're recommending things like meetings to reconfirm and helping you with that. This is an example where Cloze has tagged something as what it thinks is an important message. And let's take a look at why that might be. A really busy schedule, blah, 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 blah. If we look through this here, here we go. Please send me anything that fits the bill this evening. And so the client was asking us to say, here's something I want you to get done, and I want you to get it done by this evening. So notice that Cloze put this on our agenda as due at 6 p.m. So it realized that we were being asked for something and when it was due, and it automatically added it to the agenda. So even if you didn't get to your inbox, or maybe you missed the second sentence here, it's going to bury it away. Cloze is going to make sure that you don't miss that action item. And so you'll see a lot of different kinds of these automatic AI things on Cloze. Your contacts are going to automatically be updated, and we'll let you know what's updated and things. But I'm going to dive in a layer deeper here. Most of the time, again, most agents just live off the agenda. This is where you get all your stuff done. And by the way, we started as a mobile app company. So everything that you can do on the desktop here, you can do from our iPhone native app. You can do it from our Android app. And so because we started as a mobile app company, we have 100% feature parity. So literally everything you can do on the desktop, you can do on your mobile phone or on a tablet. And so you don't have to learn different apps. You don't have to go different places to get different things done. It's all available no matter where you are. Obviously, I'm showing you the web version here. But again, our mobile version, if you take a look, you'll see screenshots in the App Store, for example. You'll see it's really familiar to what you're looking at here. And so, again, the agenda is where you go for pretty well all the things you need to get done in your day. And I'll show you some other parts of Cloze as we go on here in a moment. But I could go to my People tab where all of my clients live, but Cloze is recommending we reach out to Gina Harris. I'm going to tap on Gina Harris and take a look. And so now that I've tapped on Gina Harris and I've brought up her profile, what I see in the middle on this timeline section is all of my past communication with Gina. So I have a bunch of text messages. I've done some phone calls. I've got emails that I've exchanged with Gina. And I'll have that history far back in time as my relationship with Gina lives. So in this case, the first time we talked to Gina was 2018. So Cloze has that complete history of every conversation you've had with anyone. And again, like the text messages here, you don't actually have to text from Cloze. You can just be texting on iMessage, Google Chat, and we can bring all of that in for you. So your real history of communication with your clients all shows up in Cloze, whether you go into the app or not. Similarly, emails, like if you send an email directly from Google or Outlook or GoDaddy or any other service you want, they're going to show up here in Cloze as well. So Cloze is going to bring together that single view of all of the communication with your client, regardless of where you actually started from. You started from iMessage, it's going to show up here. You started from Google, it's going to show up here. You started from Cloze, it shows up here, but it also shows up on your phone and in your Google account as well. You'll also see, and so the timeline really is all of that past communication. If you have notes, things like Evernote, notes you've taken in Cloze, all of those will show up. We're even going to bring together all of the files and documents related to your client. So we hook to things like Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox. We hook to things like DocuSign, and Loop and others, and SkySlope. And so we bring together all of the files that are available related to that client. And so even in Google Drive, we're going to bring in files that are just related to Gina. So that maybe they refer to Gina, they reference her. You're going to get a single view of all of these. And this, again, you don't have to manually enter this. You didn't have to go into Cloze and do stuff. This will automatically appear for any of your clients, this list of all of the files, as long as you've connected your Google Drive, your Dropbox, your Evernote, or whatever you use in those cases. And so all of your past communication, all of your notes, all of your documents and files related to a client are here fully automatically, no manual data entry. And with that, that's a starting point of the information. You can also keep track of other information about your clients. So here I have Gina tagged as a few just general categories. She's on my holiday card list. She's a foodie. I'm going to send her a newsletter. But if she's on a buyer or seller journey, you'll see where she is along that journey here. And so I've got Gina tagged as a hot buyer, and I can keep track of, all the different things about, what kind of home is she interested in, et cetera. All of this is fully customizable in Cloze, but you're also going to see things like birthdays and wedding anniversaries you can enter. You're going to get your purchase anniversaries are going to automatically come in from SkySlope and .loop. That's where some of those reminders come from. And so there's a lot of organizational tools here at your fingertips for Cloze. And so I'm going to go and just give you a little peek at the People tab here, and then we're going to go look at the marketing side of things in a moment. So on my people tab, this is where I see all of my clients, and I can pick my columns here. I can subset my audiences and have different views, different saved searches, if you will, and filter by people. Like I could find everyone on my holiday card list. And so I'll find everyone on my holiday card list. So we're going to start transitioning a little bit to talking about marketing here, and I'm going to go across a few different things here. And so let's just do a simple example. So I'm going to pick everyone on my holiday card list, and I'm going to go and send a note to them. I'm going to send like a personal note. Maybe it's about Happy 4th of July, or Happy Saint Jean Baptiste Day for the Quebecers out there. Day, and pardon my poor typing. And you can put in a note around it. And notice it's actually switching the email address here, or the name here. So this is just assigned to you that each one of these is going to go out individually to the client. So they're going to get a personal note. Jamie, Ben, Cloze are all going to get personal notes about Happy Saint Jean Baptiste Day. Enjoy the fireworks, we'll say. And so, but in this particular case, maybe I want to make this a little bit more personal. So I'm going to tell Cloze to add their spouses, if we have them, to the to line. And you'll see a few maybe rotate by in a moment here. Monty and Lisa rotated by there. So if we know someone's spouse, we're going to automatically add them to the to line here for you. So you can make this much more personal. Go to both spouses there. You saw a few rotate here. And so again, when I send this out, it's going to go out to all of these different folks, but an individual mail to each one of them. And when I do small audiences, it's going to go out through your real email account as well. And so it's going to be like a personal note sent to these people. But there's a full set of analytics in Cloze on open rates, click-through rates, all of that stuff that you'll get around these as well. But because, especially when you send with smaller audiences, we can send through your Gmail and through your Outlook. The rates of landing in people's inboxes are much, much, much higher. And so, but I'm going to now switch and show a different aspect of marketing here. I'm going to go through a few different pieces on marketing that we'll take a look at. So I'm going to go to my property list, my property section of Cloze. So when you get into Cloze, all of your EXP listings are going to show up here automatically. So every one of your listings are going to show up. You're also going to see your all of the EXP listings across all of EXP if there's ones you want to take a look at there as well. But all of these are all of my listings, and I'm going to click on 1044 West Bear Hill, Rhode Island. I'll just show you a little bit about this property so you can see there's nothing up my sleeves here in a little bit. But, nice home. I certainly like to own this one, but it's a little bit out of my price range. And so we've got, our listing here came right in from EXP. Now, if I want to create marketing materials, you're probably familiar with the Canva integration that EXP has. And with that integration, you can, basically create templates and drag photos and property descriptions in. And it's a great tool to create, custom marketing pieces. But our integration with Canva Enterprise actually takes this all to the next level. So I'm going to go and say, I want to send this listing to Canva. And what it's going to do then is actually let me pick across creating entire complete sets of marketing materials with this property already added to it. So I've got a pack of 9 EXP templates here. And so when I click on create, it's going to create one of each one of these templates customized for my 1044 West Hill Bear Island property. And so let me go do that. And so what's going on now is Cloze is filling all of these templates in with the property specific information and creating those in Canva. So when I go into Canva, and I'll just refresh one more time here, I see all of these different templates now with all of my photos in it. And so I can see, for example, a just listed flyer. And so notice it has the price, it has my description, all of my features, it has all of my different photos. It even has working QR codes, by the way, to the property link. It has my agent information. This is a demo account that obviously you can tell that's not my photo, but that's the demo account's photo here for the agent that we're dealing with. And so that's one example. If we were to take a look at another here, let's take a look at, it even works with entire videos here. And so let's take a look at, I think we have a Facebook video here. So I'm going to take a look at one of those. Let's just pick this one. So this video, when we play it, you're going to see it has all of the information, the photos across it. It's filled everything in, even for videos here. And so when you just, with a single click, you can create an entire marketing pack of information across your listing for all of the different marketing assets that you might want, all ready to go. And this is a story that I could then go and share on social media. It's going to create, Facebook templates, Instagram templates. We're working with the EXP marketing team to create even more of these. So you'll have an even broader set of templates that you can auto create and auto fill with your listings. Now, let's say, for example, you want to change something up. You can also go into the EXP Canva app and do that from here. We have a similar Cloze app as well. And so if I can go into the West Hill Bear Island, I could change up some of the photos and pick those and update that. So even though we've started and given you the baseline marketing materials, you can go in and update those as however you want to be able to work with those. And so this is a great way to be able to create marketing materials really fast for your listings. And so, by the way, you can also take these, and if I go back in there, and I could send these to Cloze and actually send these out for an email. And I'll show you that as an example in a little bit here. So let's go, we're going to go switch back to Cloze, and we're going to go create some other marketing pieces. And we'll also tie in Canva into some of that here. All right, so let's go into the library section of Cloze, which is where I have all of my past content of all of the things that I've created in Cloze, all of my newsletters and so on. But the thing about marketing content is you need a ton of it, right? There's so much content that you often need. And so this is one of the areas where we use AI to help create content for you. So I can even go in and create a complete drip campaign for us with just a single AI prompt. And so I could enter something custom, but I'm just going to pick one of the pre-built prompts here, and you can add your own prompts to this library of all the common questions and common things that you want to create. So educate home sellers on how to increase the value of their home. And so this is going to create a drip campaign with 4 drips. And so let's go and ask it to do that. So the first step is it's giving us an outline of our drip campaign. It's going to have 4 things: curb appeal, interior upgrades, staging, and maintenance and repairs. And so now we're asking Cloze to go out and create those 4 individual drips. And so it created 4 separate drips here. Now, these aren't just the typical AI gobbledygook that you see of just some random prose. With Cloze, we're actually creating whole newsletters with imagery and content. Let's go in and take a look at one of those. Let's say pick this one. So staging tips to make your home shine. And so you're seeing that we're actually having references from other websites in here as well. So articles that your client can click through to. And so this is a great way to create content really fast, but make it actually valuable to your clients. And just having a paragraph of text that you send to a client is kind of a dead end. But when you give them other materials, other places to look, other information, that's actual real value for them. And we did this all automatically. I created the complete drip campaign in like 20 seconds there. It's all of my talking here that takes up most of the time. And so you can see this is a basic drip campaign where we are sending the email, waiting 2 weeks, sending another, waiting 2 weeks, and so on. And so that is a simple drip campaign. If we have a bit of time, maybe we'll dive in and look at creating drip campaigns from scratch. But I could go and edit this drip campaign and drag and drop other things in here that I want as well. So that's actually a real screen snap of what our editor looks like. And similarly, I could go into any one of these newsletters, and if I don't like the headline photo, I could go in and change that. So maybe I'm going to pick a different stock photo. Let's pick staging homes for sale. We're just going to do a search, see what it comes up with. These are probably needed a better one. Let's pick, I don't know, let's see what we got here. We'll just pick one here. It's not to waste your time here. And so, so I updated that, and notice it kept the text on top of the image. That's part of our editor. It can even do things like overlay text and other images automatically. And so we have our newsletter. We can update pretty well anything in here that we want. So the AI gets you your starting point with it. If you're not happy with where things are, you can actually say, you'll see the light bulb icon in Cloze in different places. Rewrite this for me to make it more authentic, make it shorter, improve the clarity, the grammar, the clarity, make it more salesy. And so you can do any of this, and Cloze is going to take these and rewrite what you have with a new tone to it. So anywhere you are in Cloze that you're writing content, you can say, rewrite it for me, clean it up, just using that little light bulb icon that I showed you. All right. And so, we're going to go now and do something that you rarely see in marketing demos, which is we're going to create a whole piece of content from scratch. Most of the time when you get a demo, it's this beautifully created content that a designer spent weeks on. And when you get into an editor for creating stuff, it's almost impossible to create similar quality content. With Cloze, we're actually going to go in, and I'm going to create just a baseline one for you here, and we'll look at what it takes to create content. One of the things about content is that you often find that there's these things that you just want to use over and over again in newsletters you build, for example. And so in Cloze, you can do that by creating what we call building blocks. And so a building block can be something that you use over and over. And so maybe it's something about, for new listings, you have, how do we make your home stand out from others? And that's a block that has both information and imagery and things with it. Maybe you want some profile information on yourself or your brokerage, or if you're talking about the area. I live in Boston, and so 7 natural wonders of Massachusetts. And so you can build these building blocks and just reuse them and mix and match them and create them and combine them together into your marketing pieces. And similarly, anything that you have in Canva, you can also take and bring in into our Cloze editor here as well. I have an email hero image from that the West Hill Bear Island property, and I just drag that in. So that was created in Canva. I can bring that in to be able to send this. So this template is this is an email template here of a marketing email template. Now with Cloze, you actually can create a lot of different kinds of content. So not only those sort of beautiful marketing created pixel perfect designs, but you can create just personal emails, like the kind of thing that you would send out of Outlook or Gmail. And again, when you send it from Cloze, it's going to be 100% indistinguishable from one sent from Gmail. If you're doing a lot more things like automation, you can create call scripts for your team. You can create text message templates, whole campaigns. There's a lot of different types of content you can create and reuse in Cloze. And so the other thing, I mentioned I live in Boston, but I actually grew up in Montreal. And so want to just, this may not apply to a whole bunch of you, but wanted to show you an example of one of the kinds of things that you can do in Cloze. So for anyone who works in an area where, maybe you've got Spanish language clients in Florida or places on the West Coast, or, really anywhere around the US, or you're from Montreal like me and you need to deal with French and English clients. Cloze has full multilingual marketing capabilities built into it. So I just picked one of my newsletters here where I've got my 7 natural wonders, something about home improvement, all various things here. And I can go in Cloze and say, translate this to another language. And so since I grew up, some Montrealer, I'm going to use French Canadian here. And so what you can see here now is all of this content, including the text overlays on the images, is all translated into French. But not so fast there. You see there's also the English content in here as well. So this is actually a single newsletter that has both English and French in it in one place. And so one of the things that Cloze does, this is just another piece of the Cloze AI, is whenever you're talking with any client of yours, we're automatically figuring out what language do they speak natively based on the, what they put in a lead form or what their conversation with you looks like. And we tag their profile with what language do they speak. So if I save this newsletter that is both English and French at the same time, and I send it to 100 people, if 50 of those people speak French and 50 speak English, Cloze is automatically going to send the right content to them. So the English language speakers will get the English content, the French speakers will get the French content. And again, you can use this for really any language. So if you're working on the West Coast and you've got overseas buyers, you can work in their language. If you're in Florida or other areas where you've got Spanish clients, you can work in combine Spanish and English in your content here. And of course, once I translate it, I can go in and edit anything. Like if the translation isn't perfect, I can go in and edit that as well. But just a simple example of the depth you can go to with Cloze, even creating multilingual content here. And so at this point, I'm going to go back and just talk about some of the other areas and questions that we've heard of from folks. And then we'll go through and take questions at the end here for other questions that may have come up along the way. All right. So one of the questions we get a lot, obviously, is how do you work as a team in Cloze? And so I'm going to show you some of the things that happen in Cloze there and when you're working as a team. The first thing you'll see, and as I talked about that idea of a timeline, is that when it's a shared lead, so this isn't all of your every contact in your database, but for the shared leads that your team is working on together. When you go to the timeline view in Cloze, you're actually going to see everyone on the team's communication in one place. You'll actually see the icon of their name beside here of who actually did that email or text message with the client. And you'll see an EI summary of the entire communication across everyone on your team that's talking with them. And again, like if I were just to send an iMessage to a Maya farmer here, that would show up in the feed here as well. And so even if you do your communication outside Cloze, when you're looking at those shared team leads, you can get a single view of all of the communication related to that client in one place. We have a lot of other privacy tools here as well, where you can say, even down to the individual message, maybe you're having a private conversation with a client, you can tag that conversation to say, this is private, no one else should see it. Or these clients are private to me. And so only the clients you choose to share with your team will you see that combined timeline. And you can even say, if you're worried about information, you can say, I want my team to know that I'm talking with the client, but I don't want them to see the details of it. You can turn that on in Cloze. It's what we call redaction. So you see that there's activity happening, but not the details of the content. So there's a lot of privacy controls that we have that are built into Cloze. But the great thing here is no matter who on your team is talking with the client, no matter what device or account they're using, you're going to see a single view of all of that communication in one place. I mean, if you're working off, if you're having a lot of people calling clients from a call list, you can set up a shared call list in Cloze and actually have it so you know if someone is dialing this person on the list right now. And so that you're not going to have two people stepping toes and talking to the same client at the same time. So you're going to get an indication of someone else is talking to them right now. And so maybe you'll go and choose the third one on the list here and start talking to them. And then your icon will show up beside them for other people. And this is a great way to make sure that you're just not crossing having multiple people trying to talk to a client at the same time when you're doing outbound calls to clients. If you have, if you want to manage leads to people only when they're on duty, you can do shift management in Cloze. A whole set of capabilities around that. There's a lot of analytics in Cloze around activity that's happening on your team. So in a team, you can see down to the level, just that people are actually talking to the clients, right? How many calls, how many emails are they sending? If you care about things like bombs, how many bombs are they sending? These are all customizable measures that you can add in here. So it's a great way to be able to get that tops of the wave view. And there's a lot more analytics behind this on pipeline and analytics on Cloze that we don't have time to dive into today, but we'll give you a feel for that. And you can, by the way, you can go to learn any of this stuff, go to help.cloze.com, where there's a lot of videos. There are short and long videos, recorded webinars, our Cloze University, where you can take courses, and a lot of help articles there. And so again, even when you make phone calls and text messages on your regular phone, when your agents on your team does, you're going to see the fact that they're actually talking to the clients with there as well. We have a lot of built-in lead routing capabilities in Cloze, round robin workload, jump balls, lead ponds, and you can combine that with different kinds of filtering, maybe by zip code, by specialty, by lead source. You can trigger automated nurturing around these so that even if your team haven't followed up yet with a lead, they can begin to be nurtured before your team follows up. Or clawback leads if people aren't working them. So there's a lot of capabilities around lead routing in Cloze that we can do here as well. In addition, like when you're, a lot of teams deal with a lot of different kinds of lead sources from a lot of different places. We have hundreds of lead sources built in. But if you're getting some, custom lead source, the common denominator is that every lead source will send leads via email. And so we use AI. We can pick up those leads from your email automatically. And our AI is going to automatically figure out what the fields are. But if you need to customize it to bring more information, it's just a point and click editor to highlight the information that is important that you want to bring in from a lead. And because we're hooked to your email in real time, the moment a lead shows up in your email, instantly you get notification about it, or it goes out for lead routing to your team. No delays, no nothing there. And we are not, by the way, we are not a website vendor. And so if you have a website of your own, any of the leads that you get from that website will feed into Cloze's leads. You can trigger automated workflows there, lead routing. If your website vendor supports it, even faves and saves will feed from your website into Cloze. So you can see in that timeline of communication all the things your client are doing on your website, as well as the things that they're doing, all your real communication with them. And again, for a team, you'll see that all combined together. And all of the features of your website are obviously like the IDX feed in your website for saved searches and things your clients will still be able to take advantage of, but you'll be able to take all of that leads and work all of those clients directly from Cloze very easily. So I wanted to touch a little bit on what's included with the EXP CRM of Choice program. So the first thing is everything you've seen so far, Cloze Business Platinum is included in that. Team support is included at no cost. Lead management included at no cost. Multilingual marketing is included at no cost. The Canva Enterprise integration also included, and in fact, the hundreds of other integrations that we have. And so if you want to just give a quick view of some of those integrations, these are some of the most common solutions that EXP offers to you. So the Canva integration we talked about. Cloze has a deep integration with SkySlope and Slack and .loop. We're integrated with EXP Access, Zenlist. We're integrated with the national and EXP Do Not Call lists right in Cloze. So you'll know right from Cloze who is on a Do Not Call list, for example. And then there's hundreds of other integrations. Maybe you use Cloud CMA for your CMAs, or you use Real Scout for marketing. Any of these things, they just plug right into Cloze, and you will get all of the information from those systems will automatically be fed into Cloze. And the information related to your clients feeds out to those systems as well. So a lot of different integrations. This is actually just a subset of our overall set of integrations, whether it's websites or other marketing tools or lots of different communication systems. And I know when we did this session a few days ago, there was a lot of questions about, all right, how do I migrate? Maybe you're on KV Core. What do you need to do? And this is actually a screen snap from within Cloze, so just from a starter point account. So if you get into Cloze, we're going to help you migrate your data from whatever CRM you're on. Maybe it's KV Core, maybe it's another. So when you get into Cloze, you'll see 5 sort of starter steps. These are the things you need to get started. And I recommend you do all of these different things. We try and say if you take more than a half hour to do this stuff, you're spending too much work. So keep it simple, keep it tight. There's a lot of tools in there to help here, but I'm going to focus on the first one here, import your contacts. If you tap on that, you're going to get to a screen where you can bring in a file. So before you get here, or separately, you can export all of your contacts, all of your data from KV Core, for example, and then you can tap to import that into Cloze. If you want, you can go and do that yourself and import it yourself. But our team, this is just one of the services we offer to you, is that we'll do the imports for you. So just send us your file and we'll import it into your account, so you don't have to do all of the data mapping and things. We'll take care of all of that for you. Even if it's a custom file, we can work with you to help get that data into Cloze. It'll get cleaned up. You'll get a lot of great things out of that. So this is just a simple part of it. We make it really easy to do that migration because our team will take care of a lot of this for you. And so how do you get started with Cloze? So the simple starter steps are, you go to the CRM of choice toolkit. So exptoolkit.com/CRM of choice. You're going to click on join the priority list. And in the questions, you'll be asked, what CRM do you want to choose? And you can pick Cloze as the CRM. Once you've done that, you'll get an email almost immediately with the directions to log into Cloze. You'll be able to get into it right after that. So it's really simple and easy process to get you started on things. All right. And so with that, I'm going to ask folks who have been watching all of the different questions coming by for a quick summary of what kinds of questions there might be. I'm going to answer some of those that might be of interest to others of you. So can you demo how to send a text from Cloze? As one of the examples. And so there's a few different things for that. I will give you a quick peek here. Let's go back to Cloze. Let's go to one of my clients. I'll go to Gina. And so what you'll see either in the mobile app or on the desktop app, you're going to see a set of buttons here for calling, texting, emailing. You're going to see all of these buttons to be able to do that. And so when I do this on the desktop, like if I'm going to do a text, it's actually just going to go over to iMessage. And so you're seeing my real iMessage here, so I'm going to go from that pretty quickly. You can also set up other dialing services, though. And I'm going to delve a level into Cloze settings here for a moment to say, I can set up other different kinds of applications for dialing. So we support native integrations with things like Dialpad and RingCentral, Microsoft Teams, WhatsApp you can use for dialing on a desktop. On a phone, it's going to just bring you over right to your, whether I text or dial, it's going to bring you right to iMessage. Now, if I have Twilio or I have Dialpad or RingCentral connected to Cloze, I can also have drip campaigns that do automated texting as well. But if the only thing you have is your mobile phone for texting, if the only thing you have for is mobile phones, we can automatically pre-populate the content for the text, the phone number, but you need to hit send. All right. Can you remind me to keep in touch with my clients? This is kind of automatic with Cloze. So on the agenda, you're going to get things like keep in touch reminders, and there's going to be a whole bunch of AI ones. But I can also further say things like, for anyone who's a hot buyer, I want to make sure I keep in touch with them at least every 5 days or 10 days. And again, I'll go into settings and take a quick peek at that. So I'm going to go into my people, look at my buyers, and I'm going to be able to say for hot buyers, adjust how often am I prompted to reach out to them. But again, you don't need to do any of this stuff. Cloze's AI is going to recommend when do you need to reach out. It's going to look at your pattern of past communication and see, are you out of pattern with talking with a client? And if so, it's going to automatically put them up here on the get in touch or keep in touch section. And from there, you can call, you can text, you can email, you can look at their profile and do more from there. And so that's both how you can adjust those. But again, you do have manual control, but the AI will do a lot more for you. So typically we recommend, this is sort of a little deep dive onto the setup side. We recommend setting the manual reminders, like always keep in touch with someone at least every 10 days, 20 days. Make that a little bit longer and let the AI decide when it needs to be shorter, because AI is going to know what your real pattern of communicating with clients is. And so everything you've seen here, by the way, there were questions about what costs money and stuff. As I said, everything you've seen here is all included in the CRM of choice package. So we do not charge anything for additional feature set of all the pieces that you've seen here. And so there's a question about differentiating between friends and family members and things. You can actually just tag someone as a family member in Cloze. So I can tag them as friends or family. And then when you hook up the texting side to Cloze, you can say, don't import friends or family, for example. We'll do a little bit of sort of pushing you in the right direction about which are friends and family, but we don't know for certain. And so in the end, you need to tell us which are. And let's see. And so there was a question about people who are opening emails and things like that. So from the analytics standpoint, I'm going to go to my analytics tab here for a moment. And so this is a full dashboard. There's a lot of different analytics in here, including things like who are you spending your time with? Am I spending more time with warm clients or in contract? Am I spending more time with my network or my sellers or my buyers? You'll see all of these kind of analytics here, but you're also going to see analytics around the templates you use, how many times they're sent and opened and clicked. You're even going to see the reply rate, who actually hit the reply button to you. That's kind of the gold standard in anything around email marketing, is who actually replies. And we can actually track even things like the reply rate. Or if you're sending more mass delivery, mass mails, you're going to see that overall, where I can see, here's all the sends, the opens, the clicks, and I'm going to see it down to the individual level. I can even go and say, all right, email everyone back who didn't open this. And so I can do a follow-up on some of my mass delivery messages here. So there's a lot of capabilities around that. There is a question about merging of contacts. Because we let you connect as many email accounts as you want, and again, that's all included. There's no limits on email accounts. I think we have one user who connected 35 different email accounts to Cloze. Not that you have 35, but if you did, you could. When you have a lot of email accounts, one of the things you find is you have a lot of contacts that overlap between those. And so the last thing you want is 3 copies of every person in your CRM. So Cloze is going to automatically merge all of your contacts for you. And so we look at the communication, we look at the details, we look at things like, even things like how likely are they to be to the same person. And our AI is going to automatically take care of merging people together for you, so that you're going to end up with, in Cloze, one list of all the people you know, not 3 copies of every contact that you have for people. In the process, we're going to clean up the bad data in your contacts for you. It's just part of what Cloze does. It'll filter out bad email addresses. It's going to clean up badly formatted or invalid phone numbers, clean up postal addresses for you. So you get a clean database automatically in Cloze. So no manual data entry or any of that. Cloze is going to take care of the merging process for you automatically. And so there was a question about tasks and assignment here. So at any point, there's sort of 2 ways to think about tasks in Cloze. One is that you can actually have a sort of pre-built task list for, in this case, hot buyers of here's all the things that need to get done. And so whoever is assigned to this client was automatically going to get those next reminders about the pre-done task list. And so you don't need to enter tasks manually in Cloze. You can build, for a hot buyer in this case, here's the 10 things I always want to do with them. And you can build that into Cloze, so it's going to always remind you the moment you tag a hot buyer. If you want to do an ad hoc to-do, though, you can do that as well. And this, I'm not in a team in this account, but if you are, you'll see an assign to option along here as well. So you can take a task and assign it to someone else on your team. Every contact can be assigned to team members, so they automatically get the follow-ups with them. So a lot of different capabilities around that side here. And so let's see. And otherwise, again, a bunch of questions around website. We're not a website vendor, but you can use Cloze together with literally any website that you want. And so we work with lots of different website vendors and providers. The idea is that, in today's world, having your own website, for some people, it's actually not that valuable. Social media may be more valuable for you. And if you fit into that world, or you do have your own website already, Cloze is a great fit for those cases. But whatever you choose for websites, you can use together with Cloze. Or if you don't want a website, I was actually seeing some EXP agents that just use their MLS's pre-built site for them. If you're in that world, that works together with Cloze as well. And so for another question here, so a question about if you import wrong contacts, how can you delete them? One of the things that you'll see is you'll actually have a list of your last imports, and you can go in and clean up all the last imports that way. So these are just different lists basically, and there's an automatic one of your last import there. But there's a question about referrals here. And so let me read the question here. So I've got some folks texting me on a different line here. So if you see me pointing off in another direction, I'm actually reading something here. So if you want to focus on, so this is someone who actually is doing more around recruiting and retention side of things. So if you're doing recruiting, you can also use Cloze just as easily for recruiting. We actually have, when you set up Cloze, one of your choices is actually, do you want to use Cloze for residential sales, or do you want to use it for recruiting and a number of other things? That's one of your startup choices in here. And we have integrations with things like Corded as well. If you're using data to be able to retrieve information about agents, that will bring into Cloze, and you can manage whole recruiting and retention workflows with people. So there's a question about, can you market your listings through Facebook ads? And so so once you create the content in Canva, you can actually just use Canva's tools directly for that. And so if I go into one of my Facebook ads here, I can go and share this directly to Facebook from Canva. And so the content will be pre-filled, already set up for you there, and ready to go. And so so whether it's Facebook or any other source, you can even, because we're pre-filling content here, you can even create single property websites directly. I think there's one in here. Let's see, I think there was a single property website. Yeah. And so we created a whole website template here for the property on Cloze as well that you can use Canva to publish as a website. So you can create your custom property websites if you want. This just came from the template here, but and so you get a lot of choices of the kinds of content and things that you want. But so with Cloze, you can do all of your email marketing, all of the content that you may send there, including taking content from Canva and bringing that into Cloze. And then Cloze can send your listings to Canva and automatically create lots of different marketing materials for you. And as I said, we're working with the EXP team, marketing team, to create even more options here of automatically fillable content. So you can just click a button and create all of your marketing materials from scratch. So if there's particular marketing materials that you're interested in, making sure that you can do that single click to create, reach out to your EXP folks and let them know, marketing folks, and let them know these are the ones that you want. Or reach out to our team, and we'll keep track of that as well as we work with the team at EXP on this. And so with that, I realize we're just about at the end of our time. And so thank you all for your time here. I'm going to just one last reminder here. If you want to start using Cloze, go to exptoolkit.com, go to CRM/CRM of choice, click on join the priority list, and then you'll be asked a few questions. When you pick Cloze as your CRM, you'll get an email almost immediately that has the link to get into Cloze, and you'll be able to get set up in just a couple of minutes from there. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate all your time, and look forward to seeing